This is my first sketch of the Enchanting Lecture. A sketch is a rough, unfinished drawing or outline, often made as a preliminary study or to capture an idea. It can also refer to a brief description, a draft, or even a short, lighthearted piece of writing or music. This sketch may become one or several lectures. I am thinking that it will probably be better for it to become several lectures that are divisions of a larger lecture. The Enchanting Lecture first sketch. Chant, to recite something in a monotonous repetitive tone. Chant, to make melodic sounds with the voice. Chant, the act or art of singing. Chant, a rhythmic monotonous utterance or song. Chanter, one who chants. Chanter, Cantor. Cantor, a cantor or chanter is a person who leads people in singing or sometimes in prayer. Cantor, a choir leader, precentor. Cantor, a synagogue official who sings or chants liturgical music and leads the congregation in prayer. Enchant, to attract and move deeply, rouse to ecstatic admiration. Enchant, to influence by or as if by charms and incantation, bewitch. Enchanted, made to feel delightfully pleased or charmed. Enchanted, having or seeming to have a magical quality. Enchanted, placed under or as if under a magic spell. Enchantment, a magic spell. Bewitch, to influence or affect especially injuriously by witchcraft. Bewitch, to cast a spell over. Bewitch, to attract as if by the power of witchcraft, enchant, fascinate. Spell, a state of enchantment. Spell, a strong compelling influence or attraction. Spell, to form words by inscribing characters or symbols on a surface. Spell, to form words with letters. Spell, to spell words in a certain way. Spell, a spoken word or form of words held to have magic power. Spell, to find out by study, come to understand. Spell, to write or print the letters of in a particular way. Spell, to make up a word. Spell, to add up to, mean. Magic, the use of means, such as charms or spells, believed to have supernatural power over natural forces. Magic rites or incantations. Magic, something that seems to cast a spell, enchantment. Magic, an extraordinary power or influence seemingly from a supernatural source. Magic, the art of producing illusions by sleight of hand. Magic, having seemingly supernatural qualities or powers. Charm, the chanting or reciting of a magic spell, incantation. Charm, a practice or expression believed to have magic power. Charm, something worn about the person to ward off evil or ensure good fortune, amulet. Charm, a trait that fascinates, allures, or delights. Charm, a physical grace or attraction. Grace 3a, a charming or attractive trait or characteristic. Grace 3b, a pleasing appearance or effect, charm. Grace 3c, ease and suppleness of movement or bearing. Charm, compelling attractiveness. Charm, a small ornament worn on a bracelet or chain. Charm, to affect by or as if by magic, compel. Charm, to please, soothe, or delight by compelling attraction. Charm, to endow with or as if with supernatural powers by means of charms. Charm, to protect by or as if by spells, charms, or supernatural influences. Charm, to control typically by charms, such as the playing of music. Charm, fascinate. Incantation, a use of spells or verbal charms spoken or sung as a part of a ritual of magic. Incantation, a written or recited formula of words designed to produce a particular effect. Cultivate, to seek the society of, make friends with. Cultivate, to foster the growth of. Cultivate, to improve by labor, care, or study, refine. Cultivate, enlightenment and excellence of taste acquired by intellectual and aesthetic training. Cultivate, further, encourage. Cultivate, to prepare and use for the raising of crops. Cult, a system of religious beliefs and ritual. Cult, its body of adherents. Cult, a system for the cure of disease based on dogma set forth by its promulgator. Cult, great devotion to a person, idea, object, movement, or work. Cult, a usually small group of people characterized by such devotion. Cult, the object of such devotion. Cult, a religion regarded as unorthodox or spurious. Unorthodox, contrary to what is usual, traditional, or accepted. Spurious, outwardly similar or corresponding to something without having its genuine qualities, false. Cult, formal religious veneration, worship. Veneration, respect or awe inspired by the dignity, wisdom, dedication, or talent of a person. Worship, to regard with great or extravagant respect, honor, or devotion. Worship, to regard with great or extravagant respect, honor, or devotion. Worship, reverence offered a divine being or supernatural power. Also, an act of expressing such reverence. Worship, a form of religious practice with its creed and ritual. Occult, from the Latin word occultus, literally meaning clandestine, hidden, secret, is knowledge of the hidden. Occult, not revealed, secret. Occult, not easily apprehended or understood, abstruse, mysterious. Occult, hidden from view, concealed. Occult, not manifest or detectable by clinical methods alone. Occult matters regarded as involving the action or influence of supernatural or supernormal powers or some secret knowledge of them. Occult, to shut off from view or exposure, cover, eclipse. Amulet, a charm, such as an ornament, often inscribed with a magic incantation or symbol to aid the wearer or protect against evil, such as disease or witchcraft. Speaking in tongues. Glossolalia. Solfège, a singing exercise especially using sol-fa syllables. Also, practice in sight reading vocal music using the sol-fa syllables. Solfège, the application of the sol-fa syllables to a musical scale or to a melody. Solfège, solfeggio, also called sol-fa, solfa, solfeo, among many names, is a mnemonic used in teaching oral skills, pitch and sight reading of Western music. Solfège is a form of psalmization, though the two terms are sometimes used interchangeably. The generic term psalmization, referring to any system of denoting pitches of a musical scale by syllables, comes from French psalmization from the Latin solfège syllables sol and mi. 4. The verb to sol-fa means to sing the solfège syllables of a passage, as opposed to singing the lyrics, humming, etc. Syllables are assigned to the notes of the scale and assist the musician in audiating, or mentally hearing, the pitches of a piece of music, often for the purpose of singing them aloud. There are two current ways of applying solfège: 1, fixed do, where the syllables are always tied to specific pitches, e.g., do is always C natural, and 2, movable do, where the syllables are assigned to scale degrees, with do always the first degree of the major scale. Wise old man. Wise old man and wise old woman. Age, to become old, show the effects or the characteristics of increasing age. Old, showing the characteristics of age. Old, showing the effects of time or use, worn, aged. Old, experienced. Old, long familiar. Old, used to express an attitude of affection or amusement. Age, to acquire a desirable quality, such as mellowness or ripeness, by standing undisturbed for some time. Age, lifetime. Age, an advanced stage of life. Sage, a mature or venerable person of sound judgment. Sage, wise through reflection and experience. Sage, one distinguished for wisdom. Sage, proceeding from or characterized by wisdom, prudence, and good judgment. Sage, grave, solemn. Sage, the fresh or dried leaves of sage. Sage, sagebrush. Sage, any of several North American hoary composite subshrubs. Sage, particularly. Salvia officinalis, common sage, is believed to enhance cognitive function, including memory and attention, by affecting the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Sage can inhibit the enzyme Acetylcholinesterase, ACHE, which breaks down acetylcholine, thus increasing the availability of this neurotransmitter in the brain. This mechanism is thought to be particularly relevant in conditions like Alzheimer's disease, where acetylcholine levels are often reduced. Here's a more detailed explanation. Acetylcholine and cognitive function. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter crucial for learning, memory, attention, and other cognitive processes. Sage and acetylcholinesterase, ACHE. Sage contains compounds that can inhibit ACHE, the enzyme that degrades acetylcholine. By inhibiting ACHE, sage helps to prevent the breakdown of acetylcholine, leading to higher levels of this neurotransmitter in the brain. Potential benefits for Alzheimer's. In Alzheimer's disease, there is often a significant reduction in acetylcholine levels in the brain. Therefore, sage's ability to inhibit ACHE could potentially help mitigate some of the cognitive decline associated with the disease. Human studies. Several human studies, including some in individuals with mild to moderate Alzheimer's, have shown that sage extracts can improve memory and attention, supporting the idea that sage may have cognitive benefits. Further research. While the evidence is promising, more research, including larger and longer-term studies, is needed to confirm the efficacy of sage for cognitive enhancement and to determine optimal dosages. Other potential benefits. Sage also possesses antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, which may further contribute to its potential benefits for brain health. Mage, magus. Magus, magician, sorcerer. Magician, one skilled in magic. Magician, one who performs tricks of illusion and sleight of hand. Sorcerer, a person who practices sorcery, wizard. Sorcery, magic, and extraordinary power or influence seemingly from a supernatural source. Wizard, one skilled in magic, sorcerer. Wizard, a very clever or skillful person. Wizard, a wise man, sage. Wizard, worthy of the highest praise, excellent. Wizard, having magical influence or power. Wizard, of or relating to wizardry, enchanted. Magus, a member of a hereditary priestly class among the ancient Medes and Persians. Often capitalized, one of the traditionally three wise men from the East paying homage to the infant Jesus. Image, idea, concept. Image, to call up a mental picture of, imagine. Image, to make appear, project. Image, reflect, mirror. Image, to describe or portray in language, especially in a vivid manner. Image, to represent symbolically. Image, to create a representation of. Image, a reproduction or imitation of the form of a person or thing. Especially, an imitation in solid form, statue. Image, a vivid or graphic representation or description. Image, a tangible or visible representation, incarnation. Image, exact likeness, semblance. Image, a mental picture or impression of something. Image, a visual representation of something, such as. Image, a likeness of an object produced on a photographic material. Image, a picture produced on an electronic display. Imagine, to form a mental image of. Imagine, plan, scheme. Imagine, believe, to hold an opinion, think. Imagine, suppose, guess. Imagine, to form a notion without sufficient basis, fancy. Fancy, to form a conception of, imagine. Fantasy, fancy. Especially, the free play of creative imagination. Fantasy, a creation of the imaginative faculty whether expressed or merely conceived. Fantasy, a mental image or a series of mental images, such as a daydream, so created. Fantastic, based on fantasy, not real. Fantastic, excellent, superlative. Fantastic, exceedingly large or great. Fantastic, so extreme as to challenge belief, unbelievable. Fan, an enthusiastic devotee, as of a sport or a performing art, usually as a spectator. Fan, an ardent admirer or enthusiast, as of a celebrity or a pursuit. Fanatic, a person who is extremely enthusiastic about and devoted to some interest or activity. Fanatic, a person exhibiting excessive enthusiasm and intense uncritical devotion towards some controversial matter, as in religion or politics. Fanatic, marked by excessive enthusiasm and often intense uncritical devotion. Fantasia, a free, usually instrumental composition not in strict form. Fantasia, a work in which the author's fancy roves unrestricted. Fantasia, something possessing grotesque, bizarre, or unreal qualities. Imagination, creative ability. Imagination, ability to confront and deal with a problem, resourcefulness. Resourceful, able to meet situations, capable of devising ways and means. Resource, an ability to meet and handle a situation, resourcefulness. Resource, a source of information or expertise. Resource, a natural feature or phenomenon that enhances the quality of human life. Resource, a source of supply or support, an available means. Imagination, the thinking or active mind, interest. Interest, participation in advantage and responsibility. Interest, to induce or persuade to participate or engage. Interest, advantage, benefit. Interest, the profit in goods or money that is made on invested capital. Interest, business, company. Interest, participation in advantage and responsibility. Interest, right, title, or legal share in something. Imagination, a creation of the mind. Imagination, the act or power of forming a mental image of something not present to the senses or never before wholly perceived in reality. Prestidigitation means fast fingers. Presto. Digit. Sleight of hand. Modern witch hunts.